Welcome back, everybody. This is Dave of Spider Monkey 2A, and today we're back out at the range and we got a fun treat for you, something a little bit different than what we normally do on the channel. Today we're going to have some fun with Scot's new crossbow. Stick around, should be a lot of fun.
Alright guys, so like Dave said, we're here to take a look at the new crossbow we picked up the other day. Stopped in at the local Cabela's and took a look at some of their offerings that they had up there. Ended up going with a Ridge RDX400. As you see, it's a reverse limb crossbow. This wasn't what I went in there to buy. I went in there to pick up a bear bow or a killer instinct bow. Those were both a little bit more in my price range, but there was a great pro staff guy on hand. Showed me the advantages of the 10-point line, which includes Ridge and Horton, and I went with the Ridge RDX400. So taking a look at it, we've got reverse limbs. Okay, typically we're used to seeing a crossbow with limbs that go the other way. Biggest advantage to that is that the center of gravity is a lot closer to the middle. So when you're holding it up, it's a lot easier to keep balanced as opposed to having all that weight out at the end when you're up in a tree stand. One of the other nice things about this, got a relatively short axle to axle. 15 inches when it's decocked, 9 inches when it's cocked. So if you're hunting out of a blind or anything like that, even when the limbs are going to expand when you fire, you're still gonna have plenty of room to make sure that you're not banging into anything. So we'll go over a couple more things. We'll zoom in on it here, show you a couple of the finer details, and we'll take some shots downrange. All right, so one of the cool things about this one is it's coming with the Accudraw Pro, okay? So the difference between the standard Accudraw and the Accudraw Pro is that this does not click, 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 click when you're cranking. It's a nice quiet system. Makes it a lot easier when you're out in the woods to not have to listen to it. Click, 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 and scare everything in the woods away. Moving up along here, it's using a brush system, which is right here, to hold the bolt in place. Advantage to that over the old tang system, a lot more accurate system, okay? Now this one here also has an anti-dry fire system, which is located right here. So a bolt actually has to be in place, and when that bolt goes in, it'll go like this, and that means it's going to be able to fire. If it's in this position, the bolt has slid ahead or there's no bolt in it, it will not fire. Moving up here, we talked about the reverse limb system, split cams, short axle to axle. A neat feature of this one that you don't usually find on the ones that have a crank cocking system is that this also has a groove in it back here. So in the event that your cocking system fails, okay, you lose the crank or this system inside here fails, it can still be cocked with a rope cocking system. There's a groove down here to allow you to do it the traditional way. Now there's not a real good foot stirrup on the front, so that's going to be a little problematic. You're going to have to figure out how to brace against something to get it to cock, but it is available to you. You're not just out of luck if you get out there on your hunt and you lose the cocking mechanism for whatever reason. Let's take a couple shots downrange. We'll go through how to cock it and we'll fire downrange, check out how it does. All right, we're going to go through the Accudraw Pro crank cocking system. So the first thing that you want to do, you want to make sure that it is in the fire position. Safety has to be forward, which is going to happen every time after you shoot it anyway. When you bring it to full draw, it will automatically go back on safety. You'll see that in just a minute. So next step, you're going to release the tension on the system right here. Pull down and up, and you bring this mechanism here, which has a groove in it, here and here, and that's going to grab the string for us over top of the scope, up here, and grab the string just like that. Okay? At that point, we take out our crank system, which mounts down in the bottom, put it in the groove, start to crank. Now when we do that, it tripped the switch on the release. One of the other benefits of this crank cocking system is that at any point you can stop and let go and it does not unwind. So some of the other crank cocking systems, you have to keep tension on it the whole entire time. Otherwise it'll spin back, catch your hand, bust your knuckles, bust your hand. So we're going to bring it all the way back. Now when we get back close to where it's meeting up with the safety, we're going to hear a click. There it is. So that just engaged the safety. All right. So now we don't want to crank any further, but we need to relieve the tension on the switch. So push ahead just a little. We're able to relieve the tension on the switch. Pull out our cocking our crank device, and we have let this loose. We can pull it back over the top. Put it right back in its little parking spot there. Just like that, like that. And then sometimes it has a little extra slack. You can tighten that up just by turning the crank a little bit to tighten her up. Good to go. I always suggest putting the crank back in the bottom, because if you don't, you're gonna end up losing it. So now that we've got that back in place, we're ready to fire. All right, now that we've got the system all cocked, take our bolt here. I'll put it cock feather down, so we'll slide it in the system. And that anti-dry fire system that we were referring to earlier is located right here. So you'll see when we slide the bolt in place, that engages that pin. If that bolt slides forward, now it will not go off, okay? So it's in place, good to go, not good to go. All right, we're all set. Let's take our first shots. There's shot number one. We'll see how it did. All right, we're all lined up for shot number two. That first shot was at the center bullseye, so we'll take a look at that on the camera in a bit, see how I did. Next shot, we'll go top left. All right, we're all set up for shot number three. We'll go bottom left on this one. And there we go, shot number three. We'll go down, check it out, see how we did. All right, take a look, see how we did. Shot number one, we were aiming right at the center. Came out about a 1/2 inch high. Shot number two, that one sailed on me just a little bit, probably about 2.5 inches high. Shot number three, just to the left and maybe a 1/2 inch high again. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how that was. 30 yards is what we were shooting here. I like to zero them at about 30 with a crossbow. Typically my shots are a little bit inside that, but I'd rather aim, you know, just a little bit low and try and get it right, and then have it right at 30 and 40 with the crosshairs on the scope. Let's go back up. We'll do a little bit more of a rundown on the crossbow and send you on your way hunting. All right, so as you can see, the thing shot real well. As you can see from the videos up here where we were shooting, nice and quiet, easy to manage, low recoil. I set it on a sandbag just to balance it out while I zero it in, make sure I get it right, take out all the human error. But overall, it's by far the best crossbow I've ever shot. I wanted to take a look, show you the arrows that we were shooting. So the crossbow came with 3 of the Wicked Ridge arrows, which is 10 points brand of arrow. They're an aluminum arrow. I went and picked up a bunch more just to make sure that I have enough for the season. I don't know necessarily how I feel about aluminum arrows. We'll see. I've only ever used carbon fiber arrows, so we'll see how they hold up in the long haul. But this is what it suggested to use, so that's what I used. I didn't mention, but it also comes with a 3 arrow quiver, which is a QD quiver. So it hooks on right up here, right like this. Latch turns down, quiver's hooked on. Nice and easy. You get up in your tree stand, drop it right out, hang it up next to you, and you're good to go. All right, guys, there you have it. Wicked Ridge RDX400. Go get you one, get out in the woods, do some bow hunting.